Hey class, Prof. JC here, and I want to welcome you to our final podcast video of this class. And I want to say that you guys have done a great job in this class. I appreciate the level of care that several of you have brought to this class, and the concern that you've brought to the class, and the work that you've done. It makes my job a lot easier when you've got great students like yourself. And so thank you for the work that you've done. And again, some of you have gone above and beyond, and I greatly appreciate that. And it speaks to your character and who you are. This last video, I want to talk about something that is, it's probably one of the greatest concepts that I've ever heard in my entire life, and it could be a game changer. And it's going to apply to everything that we talked about in the past several weeks on this podcast about when you're communicating with others. You know, it's not just about communication, it is also about connection, right? That's one of the most important things. As the book says, everybody communicates, very few people understand how to connect. Okay, but what I'm getting ready to tell you right here could be an essential piece to help you connect better anytime you're in front of a room, okay? Or anytime you're leading a team, or you're leading a meeting, or whatever it might be, okay? This is important for you to understand. It's a concept that's called WIIFM and WIIFT. And this is something that I actually learned through the consulting work I do, and it's something I teach a great deal. Now it's one of my favorite concepts to teach with corporate clients that I have the opportunity to work with, okay? So WIIFM and WIIFT. Most of you have probably not heard about that. Here's what it means. WIIFM, WIIFM, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? That's WIIFM, okay? Now, here's what that means. Most people, and I just did another video about this for a class of mine. I kind of walked them through the same concept as well. It's just a great concept. Most people, and I would say all people, I'm going to go as far to say all people, okay, or at least 99.9% of people on planet Earth, most of the day they're thinking about themselves. They're thinking about what's in it for me. Okay, it's human nature. It's not, I'm not trying to offend you. I'm not trying to offend how you see human beings. I'm not trying to be skeptical. This is just human nature. We are all wired for survival. And let me tell you, once you understand this, life gets a lot easier. You don't get disappointed as much, right? Once you understand that most people, 99.9% of people, are thinking from this perspective, what's in it for me? Now, here's the key. Once you understand that, that helps you, because from a leadership position, right? From a speaking position, from a being in front of a group of people kind of a position. When you get this and you come to the table with that understanding, then you can be thinking from the position, what's in it for them, okay? So you're not offended by it. You're not upset by it. You don't worry about it. You don't, because again, this is a whole nother conversation, but as a leader, we should never be speaking in front of people or leading people because we're trying to get validated by them. That's a whole nother class. That's a whole nother conversation. But leaders who are consistently thinking or seeking validation through their work are probably some of the worst leaders. They end up becoming the micromanagers. They become the ones that they're replacing that sense of community and home and family and love and approval and validation, all that stuff they should have gotten from their own family, and they didn't get it. Now they're bringing it into the workplace, and these can be dangerous people to work for, in my opinion. Okay, so we shouldn't even be coming to the table. That's not even a conversation. Our mindset, and again, when you get this, I promise you, it'll be transformative for you when you understand that every person that is working for you on your team, they're not there for you. They're not there for your product. They're not there for your service. They're not there for your company. They're not there for your brand. They're there for themselves. They're there because something about your company, product, service, brand, whatever it is piqued something in them where they say, hey, if I'm a part of this company, this organization, this will help me with my goals. And it could just be they just want to get paid. At the end of the week, they don't care about it. Was doing a training one time. I think this was up in Colorado. And I was asking the room, you know, what motivates you about being a part of the team or whatever it was. It was kind of a motivational thing that we were given for this team here. They needed to get more motivated. And so I was asking, what motivates you as individuals? So we went around the room, and it was very cool to hear several of the team members, and some of them talked about being part of the community there. So some of them talked about the work they get to do. But then we come around the table, and this was a smaller group I was working with, and over here, and I want to say his name was John, but it could have been, I could be incorrect on that, but this was for a group of leaders from a city in Colorado. So we go around the table, and this gentleman here, he helped to lead the Parks and Recreation Department, and so we get to him, and he's not really engaged in the training at all. He's just there because he has to be, but you can tell it's the last place he wants to be. And we get there to him, and he looks up at me, and he looks around, he looks around at everyone at the table, and he says, I'm just here to get a paycheck. I just want to go fishing and drink my beer on weekends. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. That was this person's motivation, right? That's what got them out of bed every single day. And that's okay. There are people that you will lead that's their only motivation. They're not coming there for you. They're not coming there. You might get very excited about the job and the brand and the passion and the product and the service, whatever it is that you're selling. You might be very excited about it and the work you do, but other people are just there because they want to get the paycheck so they can drink their beer and go fishing on the weekend. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. So when you're speaking, when you're leading, if you can think from this position, with it, what's in it for them, I promise you it's going to help you almost in every situation that you're in. Okay. Maybe you end up taking over a team one day and it's a team that struggles. They're not quite getting it. Maybe it's a turnaround kind of a situation. Well, how do you go in and do that? Well, you come in with the mindset of WIIFM and with it. You ought to understand they're thinking about what's in it for them. So you have to think about what's in it for them. Okay. This applies to anything in life. If you can take this in, if you go in and you speak, right? And I do a lot of this. And there's sometimes you go into a room and people are so receptive and it's a really fun thing. And with the consulting I do with some of the corporate clients, some of them are great and it's the energy's there and it sparks and it goes. But that's usually about 30% of the time. And the other 70%, you get in there and you've got people that don't want to be there. They're not listening. They don't really care about it. And so, and I've worked with people like this before. They go into a room like that and they take it all personal and they make it about themselves as opposed to saying, hey, well, what's best for these people, and understanding that all those people sitting there are thinking about what's in it for them. And once you begin to understand that, you calm yourself down and you can, you usually, if you have that mindset, you can turn the room around because now you're thinking from the perspective, how do I reach these people? Not how do they approve me? How do they validate me? How do they, it's not about me at all. And I think that's the biggest thing I want you to take away from this class. If you get nothing from the book that we've talked about and this idea of connecting, it's just understanding it is not about you at all. Every time you're speaking in front of a group of people, every time you lead a group of people, if you're given, and I think it's a high calling. I think it's a high responsibility when you're given the mantle. I call it the mantle of leadership. And it's placed on you, whether it's 5 people you get to lead or you get to lead 500 or 5,000 people, whatever it is, okay? When you're given that responsibility or you're talking or leading a meeting or you're speaking in front of a group, whether it's 5 people or 500 or 5,000, it is such a huge responsibility that you get. And it's such a privilege that you get. And so your job is to never, ever, ever make it about yourself. If you can do that, if you can walk in a room and maybe you're not the greatest speaker, maybe your content isn't even the greatest, okay? But if you can come in with a mindset that says, this is not about me, I'm here to serve you, I promise you, you will win every single time. Every single time. Okay. And there's so many stories I could tell on that, but we don't have time and I don't want to bore you with those stories, but I will tell you that. Okay, if you can get this mindset, it is not about you, and you understand that everybody in front of you, they're not thinking about you at all. They will forget you, right? 20 minutes after you stop leading them, 20 minutes after you stop speaking to them, they're going to forget about you. So get that need for approval, validation, all that stuff. You need to be a self-reliant person anyway. So get all that stuff out of there and understand your leadership, your communication, your connection. It is 100% about the people that you're in, the people that are following you, the people that are listening to you. It is always, always, always about them. I can't stress that enough. You get this, it will transform everything about your leadership. So here's the question I want you to answer for this week's podcast. What does WIIFM and WIIFT mean? Okay, I already talked about it. So if you didn't hear, go back and rewind and you'll get it. WIIFM and WIIFT. Just kind of spell it out for me and tell me what that means. And then tell me, how does understanding this concept, how will it make you a better speaker and a better leader? Well, there we go. That's it. This has been a great past several weeks. I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for your hard work. I believe great things are going to happen for you. I expect great things to happen for you. And I expect that some of you are going to reach out to me in the next 5 to 10 years, and you're going to tell me about all the great things that you're doing out there in the marketplace. Hey, just remember what we've talked about. It's never about us. It's always about others. I'll see you in another class, or I'll see you here, there, or on the other side. Take care, everybody. And you have a great rest of your week. Let's make sure we end this class strong. I'll see you soon.